Welcome to Face Chicago. I'm Debbie Frazier, and I'm at the Boxing Club for Restoration Ministries in Harvey. On today's program, we're going to meet fitness guru Rob Howze and join him as he teaches kids throughout Chicagoland the importance of healthy bodies, minds, and spirits.
And now it's time for a little exercise, okay?
Rob Howze is a multi-talented individual. He's a recording artist known as Gold, a motivational speaker, the founder of the youth organization Worldwide Community, and the director of CampFit. CampFit is an 8-week day camp that tackles childhood obesity by challenging kids in the areas of mind, body, and spirit. He has turned CampFit into a television program that's part of TLN's Saturday morning kids lineup.
Sometimes in life, you gotta fight for what you want, for what you believe in, but sometimes you got a disadvantage. Sometimes you got a disadvantage. Sometimes you don't got two hands. So right now, we're gonna box for a minute, and you're fighting for your dreams with one hand in your pocket. You ready? And let's go, come on, let's go. All right, now I want you to move around a little bit, Okay, just one hand in your pocket, you're just punching. See, sometimes when you're fighting for what you want and what you believe in, you can't use both your hands. Sometimes you got a disadvantage, parents. But what you gonna do? You gotta keep fighting.
Rob, tell me a little bit about your background. What got you into fitness?
Well, as a kid, I've always been active, always been fit. But as I started to get older and my friends, I started to watch them, they were getting unfit. And most of them are unfit and unhealthy. And it's become an epidemic. And so I realized that if I could make an influence, have an impact in the lives of young people, we could literally change the future, because the kids are our future, because they become the adults. Yeah. And so that was my inspiration, knowing that I could have a direct or even an indirect impact on a positive future.
You were headed down a completely different road early in your life and took a complete right turn. Mm-hmm. What was that about?
And so I love music. Music is in the heart of me, is my passion. So I was a hip-hop artist. I still am. I still write every day, or almost every other day at least. And I had an opportunity to sign with a label, an industry label. The thing about it was the label wasn't really about God's work. And I wasn't really concerned about that because I had my own agenda. And unfortunately, and unfortunately at the time, something happened to where the whole deal fell through. But fortunately, it did, because everybody I was associated with at that time is either in jail, not here, or their life is not where they wanted to be. And that's simply because of the choices they made, the people in the company that they surrounded themselves with. So I'm just thankful that, God took me down a path. He slammed some doors in my face, but when the doors did open, I realized, it was for my betterment.
So tell us about CampFit, the television program and the day camp.
And so CampFit started as a regular program, summer camp, and we started to see it's 8 weeks, and we started to see some of the great benefits in the kids. And we said, we don't want to be selfish. We want to share this with the world. So the best way to do that is through multimedia. So we turned it into a TV show. And then we partnered with a great organization like TLN, who helps to put it out across the world as well. So now you got people in all parts of the planet that have an opportunity to be inspired by what's happening on our campus.
Right. And we're going to be inspired as our team follows you around.
Yes, and I'm inspired every moment I have an opportunity to do what I was called for, so I'm excited.
Up next, Rob gets kids motivated here at Restoration Ministries and at some of our other favorite ministries and nonprofits throughout Chicagoland. Ray, talk about the boxing program here at Restoration Ministries.
The boxing program is designed to keep kids off the streets, but at the same time give them physical fitness. Our motto here at the boxing club is that it's better to sweat in the gym than to bleed in the streets. And this is where kids come in and they learn the art of boxing and self-discipline.
And is that it? What does boxing teach young people?
It teaches them self-discipline. It teaches them how to stay in shape. It teaches them how to work on themselves individually and how to be self-motivated. And it teaches them to help encourage other boxers also. So it teaches them teamwork, because they all need help when they come into the gym, and they're kind of training each other.
I can tell that those boxing gloves mean more than just gloves to you.
Yeah, it means that kids are coming in off the streets, and they're being encouraged by our staff rather than being encouraged and influenced what the streets offer. And a kid come in here, you know, he don't know anything about boxing or anything like that, but when he comes in, he learn about boxing, but he also learned about the Lord Jesus Christ. And he also know that I have caring adults in this community who I can go and receive counsel from and be nurtured.
Well, thanks for what you do, and we're so happy to be here with you today.
What's up, kids? Who likes sugar? Show of hands. Raise your hand if you love sugar. Oh, is the hands going up slow? That's good. I'm glad you're being honest. Who thinks sugar is good for them? You think so? You think so? Okay, that's fine. She's being honest. All right. Well, I got good news and bad news. What you want first? You want bad news? Okay. So, let me tell you what sugar does to you. It dries you out. It poisons your body. It inflames your muscles. It slows down your brain. It takes away your energy. Oh, does all that. Who wants the good news? Yeah, raise your hand. So, if you cut it in half, you strengthen your brain, become a better athlete, you'll do better in school, you'll have clearer skin. Yes, all that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you how you can actually take this body seed, and literally, when you leave here today, you can take this seed and use it, and you will see your body go from here to here, especially my athletes, especially. Because if you're training, you need who knows that you need all the energy possible when you're training? Raise your hand. All right. You need all your energy. Who knows that you need all the energy possible when you're in school? Raise your hand. Right, right. And so by cutting the sugar in half, say cut it in half, and then once you cut sugar in half, then you got to color your plate. Who knows what color your plate means? Anybody know? Anybody know what that means? Yeah, you know what it means?
I think it means that, like, the health plate, like vegetables, fruits, wheat, and protein.
Wow. Give them a round of applause, everybody. Come on. That's it right there. And so, you know, sometimes you don't know what to do. Like, how do I eat healthy? Get the colors. Color your plate. Fruits, vegetables. Why am I going to do fruits and vegetables? Because what fruits and vegetables do is they bring the nutrients to your brain. Okay? That's the body seed. So remember, 3 seeds: mind, body, spirit. If you want your body to go to the next level, cut the sugar in half and color your Okay.
When you have too much sugar in your body, it messes with your mindset and how you think and your energy and your emotions. So your performance at school is down, and even your performance in the ring and any kind of sport, for that matter, it's going to affect it tremendously because you can't sustain energy that's fueled by sugar.
Well, some might say that it's too expensive to eat well.
Well, you either pay now or you pay later. It's kind of how you got to look at it, you know, and it's really not that expensive. I mean, there's certain things you can do, like one of the biggest things you can do is meal plan. Because if you meal plan, then you go out and buy exactly what you need. A lot of times we overspend because we go to the grocery store hungry and we just start grabbing a bunch of things, and then we think it's expensive, but we never had a plan. So that's kind of the problem.
What if parents are cooking high-fat meals? I mean, what would a child do?
Well, honestly, it's all in moderation. I mean, honestly, what you want to do is, like I always say, make sure you have colors on your plate, vegetables and fruits, and make sure if you're eating sugar, just cut it in half. And just, again, if you're eating foods that aren't that good for you, you do it in moderation. You just got to watch your intake and really measure it.
How do you see the food industry reacting to this change in eating?
Well, honestly, I don't think the food industry is on our side, but we have so many organizations and companies and people who have recognized the health defects and how the ailments are stemming from how our kids are eating. And so since the obesity percentage and diabetes percentage, all of it's increasing, we have a lot of folks who are being very conscious about doing something, implementing programs and processes to help kids be healthier.
And you know, when I was young, I mean, this is the old thing, we did a lot of movement. We were outside all the time. I mean, what do you do to help motivate kids to get off that game or that computer and get outside?
You introduce them to different things like Restoration Ministries. You introduce them to, there's even some video games like Pokemon Go that encourage movement. And even if a kid is not an athlete, you can do family walks together. You know, spend that time, that quality time, while you're bonding, while burning calories and getting those endorphins flowing. So you just got to be kind of creative. And YouTube and Google is amazing for finding creative ways to be active.
More Face Chicago after the break. Don't go away. We're at George Leland School with the nonprofit organization BUILD. Bradley, what is the mission of BUILD?
BUILD's mission is to take youth from at risk to at hope, and that's just as simple as that gets.
So how do you do that?
Well, that's through comprehensive programs, wraparound services, intensive mentoring, and just continually working with the youth. So BUILD is all about building relationships, helping youth to build that confidence, to know who they are outside of what circumstances and society dictates or tell them they are.
What are the greatest challenges your students face here?
Well, there are a number of the challenges out here. As we know, we're an Austin community. At times, violence often strickens their homes. Sometimes we're a little inadequate as it relates to resources, but mostly what it is, we want to be able to motivate our kids. Sometimes they have a little lack of self-esteem and things of that nature, but through partnerships with BUILD, they're able to work with us and help our kids become more confident in themselves, become more energetic, and most of all, more successful.
Principal Ivy, why is it that you've invited BUILD to be at this school tonight and actually on a regular basis?
Well, BUILD has proven to be an awesome community partner. They take our youth and engagement at the school activities, mentoring, sports programming, along with homework help, all of that we know is essential to producing a positive student.
So happy to have both of you here.
What's up, everybody? Make some noise! Okay. Everything you've ever seen that's ever been created started with a thought. That's how powerful your thoughts are. That's how powerful your mind is. So if you're thinking about stupid stuff, if you're thinking about negative stuff, if you're thinking about things that aren't going to work for you, guess what? You're going to wind up in those situations. Here's the other thing. How you think about yourself is important. A lot of times we fail and we think we're a failure, but guess what? Failure is all a part of the process. Did you guys know that Michael Jordan got kicked off he got cut from the basketball team? You know that, right? Michael Jordan? Have you ever heard the story about Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time?
Well, I heard you share about percentages. 20% represents
Exercise.
80%.
What you eat.
And the mind?
100%. We call it the 80-20-100 philosophy. So whether you're trying to lose weight, get in shape, it doesn't matter. It's 80% what you eat, 20% exercise, but 100% mindset. That's the...
How do our thoughts either help or actually hurt us?
Because your thoughts create your life. Your thoughts create action. So your thoughts, whatever you're thinking, eventually becomes an action, which gives you your results. So if you don't like your results, just re-engineer it back to how you're thinking.
All right, so if someone thinks that they're not very bright, what happens?
Then they won't be very bright because they won't have the confidence to be bright. You know, whether a man thinks he can or a man thinks he can't, he's probably right.
So how do you correct the mindset?
Well, number one, it's personal development, putting the right things in your mind. And so growing and deliberately challenging yourself to actually have a strong mind and working on certain aspects like communication.
And for some kids, they may live in an environment that can be very discouraging. I mean, that's their life. How do they work their way out of that?
Well, when your surroundings are big, and so you have to deliberately, again, put things in your mind, whether it's what you're watching, maybe the books you're reading, but put things in your mind that's going to challenge you and expand your mind.
And if, in some cases, if someone begins to do well in school, they begin to get good grades, does that impact their whole self-esteem issue and all the other things that come to play with being discouraged?
It does. That's the beginning, because it starts to build confidence. And confidence is what you need to fuel you when things get challenging. And so, again, how you're thinking, am I smart? Do I have the ability? Am I capable? And by the way you're thinking, again, will then create the confidence to eventually give you the results that you're looking for.
Does economy affect it? For instance, wealthier kids, do they do better with this?
No, not at all. It really has nothing to do with your economic standing. It's really about how you're thinking and who's pouring into you. So it has more to do with their home foundation than with how much money mom and dad are bringing home.
All right. Give us some simple steps. How do we get started in changing our mindset?
Read a book a month. A book that has to do with personal development, whether that's how you think, how you speak, how you deal with your emotions, one minimum of one book a month. That's a good start.
Who made the light bulb? Thomas Edison created the light bulb, right? He failed 1,000 times trying to make it. See, you don't fail when you fall off, you fail when you quit. Because if Thomas Edison would have stopped, we'd be in the dark right now with candles. Let's say you want to get in shape, right? And on our show, we got some people, we have kids that come in sometimes. One kid lost over 100 pounds, right? They lose weight. Some kids come in and they're not really secure with themselves. And one kid came in, couldn't even look his own self in the mirror. But then a year later, 2 years later, he gets a scholarship to college, full ride, building his confidence up. Because if no one believes in you, who got to believe in you? Yourself. Yeah, it's you. You're the person in the mirror, right? And so you got to remember that.
More Face Chicago after the break. Don't go away. We appreciate Comcast support and participation in our CampFit tour. TLN shares many of the values of Comcast's Internet Essentials program, outreach to our communities, and providing encouragement to our under-resourced neighbors. By offering low-cost internet connections and computers, Internet Essentials gives all kids a level playing field for school projects and research. It also helps their parents and caregivers as they seek more education or employment. I talked about the program with Jason Lunderman, Government Affairs Manager for Comcast of Illinois. You're here today to talk about Comcast Internet Essentials program. Tell me about it.
Sure, absolutely. Internet Essentials, it's a program that we're trying to bridge the digital divide, and it's the largest broadband adoption program here in the United States. And so what we're trying to do, bridge the digital divide and ensure that families that don't have the ability to pay for internet, that they have an actual choice. And so for families that that have their kids that receive free or reduced lunch through school program, we offer internet service for $9.95 a month. And also families that receive HUD assistance also are eligible for the program as well. So even if you're just a senior citizen and you've never been on the internet and want to get on the internet, you have an opportunity if you live in the HUD assistance program.
So $9.95 a month?
Yes, ma'am.
That's fantastic. That definitely shows how much Comcast cares.
Absolutely. And also with the program as well, it's an opportunity for the resident to purchase a computer for $149.99 as well.
Nice. So give us the first step in the direction. What do our viewers do in order to participate?
You go to internetessentials.com to learn more information, and you actually just sign up online.
Is there a number people can call?
Absolutely. It's 855-846-8376.
Tell us some of the other things that Comcast does in the community.
Sure, absolutely. Other than our Comcast Cares Day is one of the largest single day of service in the country, we also work with a variety of partners locally here in Chicago and all the communities where we are. But we also have national partners as well, like Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Club, National Urban League. And so while digital literacy is very important to us, we also support organizations and programs that are encouraging volunteerism and providing youth leadership development.
Well, I know TLN appreciates Comcast. You are one of our partners, so really want to thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
For over 40 years, TLN has had a strong commitment to making a difference in our local communities. This value is shared by our partner Comcast through their annual Comcast Cares Day and through their very special program called Internet Essentials. At this year's Comcast Cares Day, TLN caught up with Comcast Senior Executive Vice President David Cohen. He was volunteering at the nonprofit Cradles to Crayons. He talks from his heart about his vision for Internet Essentials and how it's helped kids and their families.
Comcast Cares Day is about celebrating our commitment each and every day to caring and to giving back in our communities. And one of the principal examples of that is our Internet Essentials program, which is our most significant community impact program and which is the largest and most comprehensive broadband adoption program for low-income Americans. It is so important to make sure that every person, particularly every young person in the country, is connected to the internet, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of the zip code where they live. And that's what Internet Essentials does. So in 5.5 years, we've connected more than 4 million low-income Americans to the internet, most of them for the first time in their lives.
You can go to InternetEssentials.com for more information and to see if you qualify. And with a high-speed internet connection, you can watch TLN's live stream on any device, anytime. Tune in next week when Rob visits the Salvation Army and Breakthrough Ministries and talks about feeding our spirits. We'll see you next time on Face Chicago.